Alright, so with the back matter, we need a bibliography, right? So let's create this file, MindBib, open a new text file and save it as MindBib with extension .bib is very important. So MindBib.bib, right? If you don't end with this, you're going to encounter some errors. So it should be in the same folder. So save. Right. So let's go to Google Scholar and get some reference to cite. Right. So let me refresh. So let's assume we want to cite this book. I'm gonna cite BibTech. Then let's highlight, Control A to highlight and copy, Control C, right? So back to my bib file. Yep. Let's get one more. Let's go back. Get one more. So let's close this. And let me see. Let's try and cite this. So bib. So Control A, Control C to copy. Okay, so my bib, I'm gonna save this. Right. Okay, so now let's go back to, let's close this chapters. Right. So I'm gonna operate in chapter 2. I'm gonna make use of the reference in chapter 2. So cite, so the first person, right? So enter. Then I'm gonna cite the second person in this part. Cite this the second person, right? So there are two. So let's build and view. So it's still compiling. Once we have added the bib file to it, we supposed to run it twice to make sure that everything works correctly, right? So once it's done, I'm going to compile it again. Okay, so I'm going to compile it again. All right, so let's look at chapter 2. So this is not clickable, right? We have to add the hyperref so that it can move us straight to the page where we are referring to. So let's look at this chapter. So that's the first citation, the second citation, right? So if I scroll down to bibliography, I can see it's showing, right? So we are good to go. Now, before we proceed, let me deal with the hyperref. Let me add the package, hyperref, use package. let me hide the links, hide links. So hyperref. Yep. So once I have this, it makes my work easier. Alright, so let's see. Chapter 2. Now I click, it moves me straight, right? And the same thing applies to the table of content. It's not showing. Let's boot it again. Okay, so it's not showing, right? So now if I click, it moves me to introduction, right? So that's the power of the hyperref. Okay, so I think we are good to go. We can also add the appendix, right? So let's open this in the back matter. Yes, right. So I'm going to name this chapter I want it to appear, so let me do it well. Append 1, right? So I want to include some figure, so let's say begin figure, right? And let me give this include graphics. So let me use height. Should be line width. Okay, let's use line width. The image is going to be cool nature. I have this image in my graphics, so I can actually build it, right? So let's have a preview. Okay, so that's apparent is too much. Let's change to test width. Test width, right? Test width. Okay. Oh, so let's reduce it to let's use specific measurement 3 centimeters for height. Okay, so this is okay, right? So I can do the same for append 2, right? So open, yes. So chapter append 2, let me copy. I have another image in there, right? So the name of this image is let me check. I want to be sure. Graphics, yeah, Visa. Okay, so I want to make use of Visa. So Visa, Right. So let me check the spellings. Visa. Okay. So let me make this 4 centimeters. Let's build in view. Okay. So the usual problem, right? So let's try and use a different back matter. Append to. Let's open this. Yes. Copy and paste. Okay, let's copy this. Right, so append to build and view. I'm supposed to make use of Visa, right? So Visa. Let me build it again. Let me change this to 4. So let me center what I'm doing, centering. It's too small, so let me make it 5. So the previous one is now showing, right? So I can go back to this and make it 5. And later ignore this, right? This is the second one that I've created under the appendix. So let's see. Let's ignore one. Let's ignore this and use, okay. So let's build it again. Okay, so you're good to go, but we can center this, right? So centering, right? So 5 is even too small, right, to be seen. So let's increase it to 7. Okay, so I think it's a little bit okay. Right, now let's move on. So let's look at the page numbering together with the table of content and the table of figures, right? So let me use chapter 1 for that. So I'm going to use chapter 1. Let me close the appendix. So I want to create some table here. So table, begin table, right? So I'm gonna start with centering. I want it to be centered. Give some caption, right? My first table, right? So caption, then we can also give it a label. So tab should be T1, right? So I think we should be good to go. Begin tabular. So I just need 2 columns, right? I want all to be centered, so I'm using the CC, right? So let me rule horizontal line, H line for horizontal line. Then let me bold in my heading, text B Earth, Control B to give you this. So I want age, and let's say height, right? Text BF height in meters, right? So let me rule another line. Okay, so let's modify this. Set stretch, right? 1.3 just to space the table for us. So I'm using the set stretch command, right? Then let's move on. So let's say 820. The height is 1.56 meters, right? Let me close this line. Copy, paste, 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 paste. So the next person is 25, 1.68, 21, 1.96, 2.16 for let's say 19, and 24 or 23 is 2.01, right? So let's close with horizontal line. So right, I can now make reference to this, right? So let's say reference to table 1. This is my first session referring to table 1, right? Then I can also introduce some figure. So begin figure, right? H. So I want it to be displayed right under this subsection, right? So I'm gonna use centering. I want it to be centered. Then I also need what else I need to write include graphics. Height should be 4 centimeters. I'm going to use a cool nature image. Then caption, my first figure, label, fake F1, right? So this is how I want to label it so that I can make reference to it anytime I want to make reference to it, right? So reference fake, yeah. So I think we should be good to go. Let's compile this. Okay, so I think we are good to go. Right. So here we are with a figure. And here we have the reference, right? And we also have the table and the reference, right? Okay, so I think we are good to go now.